Hey guys, it is Christos here. What is going on? I hope everybody's having a wonderful time, and I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season. Thanksgiving just passed not too long ago, and we're going to get to Christmas here soon. So I just hope everybody's having a great time. And with that out of the way, let's get in today's video. So we have quite a bit of decks here. I've been still playing Musketeers, changing up. I'm actually making a blind second build for Musketeers, especially coming up with Runic coming out, Labyrinth. And in the next set, we're in like Sprite. Well, not the next set, but after we get the Runic, we should be getting like Sprite here soon. I'm assuming probably the next like 60 days to, about 2 to 3 months. Expect Sprite in the game. So I'm making a deck, and preparing for that. I got quite a bit of stuff just I'm working on. Magical, like I said, Musketeers. I'm playing yet again with like I said, there's so much stuff. Hold on. Scareclaw. We got Monarch. We got Blind Second Musketeers. I forget what that one is at the moment. We got Exosisters I'm playing with. Yeah, then Magic Keys. I'm remaking Magic Keys. I'm doing an updated deck video for that in the future. But for today's deck list, we are doing Pendulum. Now, we just had the Anti-Spell Festival not too long ago. And I did not play Pendulum. I played Littlest Tribal Brigade, and it was really fun, and I had a great time with that deck. But I was like, I really want to learn Pendulum, so I was like, you know what? What's the worst Pendulum deck out there? I'm going to learn it, and that's what I did. So, introducing Qliphorts. Now, Qliphorts is a really fun deck to play. I've actually really kind of enjoyed this. It is not good at all. If you're playing in like gold to like even low diamond. I was in diamond when I first made this. Now I'm in gold again, reset. I was able to get some wins in diamond. I'm able to get wins in gold, not all my games, but good part of them. It's just a lot of fun to play. And yeah, so like I said, if you like Pendulum and you want to learn it, I think Qliphorts is a good little stopping point. Definitely not the best deck out there, but it is a lot of fun. So let's get into the card by card, and I hope everybody enjoys. So first off, the hand traps. We got 3 Max C. This card's still legal, so we're still going to play it. We got 3 Ash Blossom because, stopping your opponent's Max C or the key search ability is going to be game. Then we got 2 Called by the Grave. This stops Max C and or Ash Blossom. Simple as that. Or any really graveyard effect you don't want going off. This will take care of it. And lastly, we got 3 Infinite Impermanents. And that's it. I was thinking about running a crossout designator in this deck. I think it would be actually pretty decent. If I did that, I'll just get rid of 1, lose 1 turn. So I'd run 2 of these, and then just have crossout designator instead. But yet again, that's an up to you preference. So I'm just letting you know what I'm running. Now for the actual monsters, we got 3 Scout. This is one of your main cards in the deck. You really want to be trying to search this your first hand no matter what. You want to see this in your first hand no matter what. So the Pendulum effect is really important. You cannot special summon monsters except Qli monsters, which is fine. This effect cannot be negated. Once per turn, you can pay 800 life points, add 1 Qli card from your deck to your hand. And that's any Qli card except for itself. So that's your towers, that's any of your carriers, helixes, your shells, your monoliths. That's your spell cards, that's your sacrifice, and also your laser clip, clip, whatever that's called. So you get a lot of options for searching. So just an FYI, this is one of your best cards in your deck. You really want to be trying to get this, and there's a lot of ways to get to it. So then we got 3 Monolith. Monolith is really good. It is very easy to search. I like to run 2 of them. I think that's a sweet spot. And its Pendulum effect is really good. So basically speaking, you can't special summon monsters. All key pendulums have that effect, by the way. So what this card does, once per turn during the end phase, if you tribute summon this turn, you can draw a number of cards equal to the number of Queen monsters you tributed for the tribute summons. So example, if you tributed 2 monsters and you special summon like Helix, you could, or what is it, Scout, is it? Yeah, Stealth. So basically, if you tributed 2 monsters for stealth, you get to draw 2 cards at the end turn. If you tribute 3 for towers, you get to draw 3 cards. So it's really good, definitely worth running. Speaking of the boy himself, we got 1 towers. He's searchable in this deck by Scout. So only running 1, he's kind of a brick until you actually need him in your hands. Towers is amazing. What this card does is very simple. This card is normal. This card is normal summon / set. It is unaffected by spell / trap effects and by activated effects by any monster whose original level / rank is lower than this card's current level. And it's level 10. So anything level 10 or lower cannot use its effects on this card. Can't be destroyed by spell and traps. Then on top of that, all special summon monsters lose 500 attack and defense. Then once per turn, you can make your opponent send one monster from their hand and or their side of the field to the graveyard, their choice. Really great card, really hard to get over. The only way for your opponent to actually get rid of this card is by links. And there's ways we're stopping that by skill drain and lose one turn. So like I said, towers, once it's on the field, it's staying on the field. It'll be really hard for your opponent to do anything. Then we got 2 carrier. I'm only running 2. Some people run 3 carrier and 3 helix. I'm only running 2 of a piece, but it's up to you. Like I said, do what you feel comfortable with. This card's pendulum effect is all Qli monsters you control gain 300 attack, but its normal summon effect is pretty interesting. Basically speaking, all Qli monsters can normal summon themselves without tribute. When they do that, their attack becomes 18. But then on top of that, if you tribute this card for another Qli monster, you can target one monster on the field and return it to the hand. Helix is this card is tributed. You can target one spell and trap on the field and destroy it. So those are really good. I'm running 1 shell. It does come up every now and then. Shell, what it is, if this card is tributed, if this card is normal summoned by tributing a Qli monster, it can make a second attack during each battle phase. And if it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing. The piercing part doesn't really come up. What comes up is the second battle attack. It really is important. So I do like to run 1 shell just in case. Then lastly, we got 2 stealth. This is one of those cards you could actually kind of run 1. So if you want to run 1 stealth and 1 disc, that's perfectly fine also. So just an FYI. But what stealth does is very simple. Stealth states, if this card is tribute summoned by tributing a Qli monster, you can target 1 card on the field and return it to the hand. So it's just a straight bounce, and that's why I really like to use it. And the opponent can activate effects or effects in response to this card's activation, so they can't respond to it. So I like that personally. I think it's a good out, and it does come up quite a bit. So that's all my monsters I'm running. Now for spells. The 3 were really key is Summoner's Art. Summoner's Art states you can add 1 level 5 or higher normal monster from your deck to your hands, and that target's going to be Scout and or Monolith. We have 5 cards you can choose from, so if you have Scout, you could easily add Monolith to your hand instead, or if you have Monolith and not Scout, you could have it, or you have, multiple Summon Arts, then not once per turn, so you can just clock up your hand with multiple Scouts and Monoliths if you want. Then for our spells, we got 3 Pot of Duality, 3 Pot of Extravagance. Your extra deck does not matter whatsoever. So there's only 3 cards in the extra deck you really want, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So having more draw is really important. Then we got 1 Qli Sacrifice, whatever, however you pronounce these cards. I'm only running 1 of this. I know some people run more, but for me, I like 1. It is searchable, and that's why. You can only equip it to a Qli monster against 300 attack, and you got to be destroyed by battle. The equipped monster can be treated as 2 tributes for a tribute summon of a Qli monster. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you could add 1 Qli monster from your deck to your hand, which is really good. So being able to have tribute, 2 cards instead of 3 is important sometimes, or just use 1 card for 2 for like a stealth is really, really important. So then adding any Qli monster you want is just really good recurring. We're running 1 laser, the field spell. This does come up every now and then, but it's not the best card. This is a cuttable space, by the way. So if you want to run something else, feel free to. So what this card does is during your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Qli monster in addition to your normal summon / set. Simple as that. Normal summon Qli monsters also can't be negated. So I like it because getting more bodies on the field is really important. So just an FYI. And like I said, we went by 2 Call by the Graves, 3 Infinite Permanents, 2 Skill Drain. Since all of your cards can be normal summoned, they go right back up to the original attack if Skill Drain's up. So you could normal summon this, and all of a sudden you have a level 6 on the field that has 24 attack or 28. You know what I mean? So it's really good for that one reason. and it stops your opponent and doesn't hinder you since you're going to have big bodies on the field. So I like to use it. And protect our towers against links. The card in question is lose 1 turn. Lose 1 turn is really fun, and I'm happy I finally get to use it in a deck that I don't care about. So you can only activate if you control no special summon monsters. When a monster is face up on the field, negate its effect during the turn that monster is special summoned. If an effect monster is special summoned in attack position, change it to defense position. So basically, they start special summoning, all the special summon monsters get negated, and any effect monster that is special summoned in attack gets changed to defense. And that's any special summon. So even link monsters, when they're special summoned, when they're link summoned, their effects get negated. They don't get changed to defense, but they do get negated. So just an FYI. Really good card. Definitely worth running. Now, for the extra deck, you can fill it up with anything you want. There is no real options. There's only 5 cards here that I would kind of recommend. The 3 that are mandatory. 3 Geniuses. Genius is a really good card, and you kind of want to run this. So this card, this Link Summon card is unaffected by spell and trap effects and the activated effects of other Link monsters. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up card on either player's field except this card. Both these cards have their effects negated until the end of the turn. When 2 monsters are special summoned at the same time to the zones this card points to, you can add 1 level 5 or higher machine monster from your deck to your hands. And that's just really good. And that's another way. At this point, you have Genius, 2 other cards. You can use this effect, add towers, tribute all 3, get towers on the field immediately. This card's really good. You definitely want to run 3 of, just in case you banish it with Extravagance. That's why I'm running 3. The other 2 cards I kind of come up in very niche plays is Metaphors Electromite. Not the best card, but yet again, the idea behind this deck is I'm going to upgrade it to, well, I'm going to change it out to a different Pendulum deck in the future. So this is kind of just helping me learn Pendulum monsters. So 1 heavy Metaphors is not necessary, but it does come up every now and then. Basically, if this card is Link Summon, you can add 1 Pendulum monster from your deck to your extra deck face up. Then once per turn, you can target 1 other face up card you control, destroy it, and you do add 1 Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. If a card using Pendulums leaves this field, draw 1 card. What this card does is every now and then it allows me to recycle my scouts that I need to actually get to my if my opponent heavy storms, gets rid of my scout. This allows me to kind of get my scout back every now and then. So it does come up, but it's a niche case. You could cut it, you could add anything you want to the extra deck. The only mandatory, like I said, is Genius. Then the last one that is somewhat good is Beyond the Pendulum. Yet again, this card does not come up often, but yet again it does every now and then. What this card does, if this card is Link Summoned in the extra monster zone, you could pay 1,200 life points, add 1 Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, and for the rest of the turn, unless you Pendulum Summon, after this effect resolves, you cannot activate monster effects, and the effects of any cards in the Pendulum Zone are negated. If 2 monsters with original levels are Pendulum Summoned at the same time to zones this card points to, you can target 2 cards on the field and destroy them. So like I said, this card does come up in very niche cases. It's not often, but it does. Just being able to add 1 Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand is really, really good. So yeah, like I said, it's not the best card we have, but it is decent. Like I said before, and I'm going to say this again, the only mandatory card you need is 3 Geniuses, and that's it. So, with that out of the way, let's get into the games, and I hope everybody enjoys. Alrighty, guys. This first matchup is against Nekroz. I love Nekroz deck. I've played it before. I have a video of it on my channel. It's not a good it's not like a great deck list, but it was a lot of fun playing. It's one of those I kind of want to go back and play again, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So my opening hand is actually pretty good. I got Scout, I got Ash Blossom Stealth and Qliphorts, and I got Pot of Extravagance. So we're going to banish 6, and we're going to draw 2. So I do get another Ash Blossom and Infinite Permanent. It's not the best, but we'll make it work. I do Pendulum Scale Scout, and I use its effect, pay 800, and I do grab Monolith. At this point, I activate I scale Monolith. Now I'm going to Pendulum Summon my Stealth, and I activate Qliphorts on Stealth. Then I'm going to activate Infinite Permanence in my turn. So, not the best opening, but we'll see what happens. He does Sinju and try to get a Ritual monster from his deck to your hand. I'm going to Ash that because I don't want that going through. We're going to see if he has any extensions. He does. He has Nekroz. of Kaleidos. And at this point, he does get Kaleidoscope, and then he activates Ritual Sentry. He activates Ritual Sentry, discarding Kaleidoscope, and adds Ben 10. At this point, he activates Pre-Operation of Rights. He adds Necroz Baronic, and he gets Kaleidoscope back to his hand. I'm like, alright, well, this is de-escalating. He activates Baronic, he discards it, and at this point, he adds Unicorn to his hands. He activates Kaleidoscope. He hands Herald the Arclight from his extra deck to his graveyard to Ritual Summon Unicorn. So like I said, this is going downhill pretty quickly. It's not looking good. Herald of the Arclight's going to activate, and he adds Trishula. He activates Mirror, getting rid of Benton and Colossus, and now he's going to Ritual Summon Trishula. Yeah, this went downhill pretty quickly. I'm going to Imperm the Trishula here because I don't want to banish cards on my field. So we're going to activate this Imperm now. You know, Ben 10 is still going to activate, so that kind of sucks. So at this point, Trishula gets negated. Ben 10 is still going to activate, and he gets Diviner to his hand for his next turn. And at this point, he's going to attack, trying to do some damage. My card can't be destroyed because of Sacrifice. At this point, he goes into Tornado Dragon. Tornado Dragon's effect, he's going to discard and get rid of my Scout. And I'm kind of aggravated about that. That fucking sucks. So at this point, I draw my towers, and then he's going to get rid of my Monolith. Yep. This is downhill. All I can do is just attack his Tornado Dragon. My card doesn't get destroyed, and I can end my turn. There's nothing else I could do. This is going downhill. He activates Diviner. I'm going to Ash Diviner. Yeah, just get rid of it. I know he has 2 cards in the hand. He still has plays, so we're going to see how far he could go with it. And at this point, he just goes to battle. He attacks, does some damage, and he's going to end his turn. So I'm like, alright, so maybe he doesn't have plays. Activate Prosperity. This is decent. I'm going to get rid of 6 again, and he Ash Blossoms. Yep. Okay. So there's nothing I can do about this situation. I'm just in a lose situation at this moment. Let's see if I can try to come back. Stealth is going to attack over his Diviner. I'm going to try to do some damage, and I just end my turn. Like I said, this is not doing well. He still has 2 cards in hand, and his field spell Ritual Sanctuary activates. And at this point, he returns multiple cards, and he gets Diviner. Diviner's effects are going to activate. He sends Herald. Herald effects are going to activate, and then he gets Unicorn. Like I said, this is not going good. He activates Bionic. He discards it, and he gets Strategist. At this point, he sends Herald and Trishula for a Nightmare Phoenix. Phoenix is going to activate by discarding 1 card. He discards Unicorn to target my Sacrifice. Sacrifice is going to allow me to get a Scout again. At this point, he activates Cycle, targeting his Trishula. Then he sends his Strategist to, to Ritual Summon Trishula. Trishula's effect is going to activate, banishing 1 card from my field, graveyard, and hands. So this sucks. Field Stealth is gone. Towers is now gone. This is just a very lose-lose situation. He gets Gladys back to his hand and now goes to battle. He's going to do a crap ton of damage. Nothing I could do about that. This is not doing well. We'll see how I can come up. Great top deck. So I'm Monolith Scout. And at this point, I activate Scout's effect. I do get Shell. And at this point, I'm going to Pendulum Summon 2. And I'm going to Tribute for Shell. When I did that, I could have Pendulum Summoned 3 and got Shell, but I didn't want to do that. I want Shell's effect to attack twice. So I'm going to attack over his Trishula, and I'm going to attack over his Nightmare Phoenix. Now at this point, I'm feeling pretty decent. Monolith's going to activate, allowing me to draw 2 cards. I'm so happy about that. So at this point, I'm feeling really confident. So Ritual is going to activate, targeting Kaleidoscope and Cycle. And then Diviner effect is going to summon, sending it other Herald. That's all 3. Then he activates, he adds Brownic. Brownic's going to activate by discarding. And then he's going to add Unicorn to his hands. So then at this point, he activates Kaleidos. He's going to discard to add Kaleidoscope. Colossus and add Kaleidoscope. He activates Kaleidoscope, sending an Intis to go into Unicorn. I'm like, yep, that fucking sucks. Intis effect's going to activate, targeting my Shell. Then at this point, he... okay, that was an epic play. So at this point, he tributed both his monsters to summon a Archlord Christia, which, okay, that was pretty cool. Both Archlord Christia goes to the top deck. I'm down to 400 life points in a dream. We'll see what could happen. So So at this point, I got max C. I do activate, I do normal summon Carrier. I attack for 18, and I got lose 1 turn. I'm feeling really confident of lose 1 turn up. So we're going to see what happens. I know what that card is. I activate lose 1 turn, and I'm going to hope and pray. He activates Kaleidoscope in the graveyard, banishing itself a unicorn. He adds Cycle. So I know both cards. He gets rid of Cycle, and he adds Mirror. I don't know what he's trying to go with because his other card's Archfiend. At this point, he just ends his turn. So at this point, I just normal summon Stealth, and I attack for game. And that's it. That was an intense match down to 400 life points. I was not expecting that. So, with that out of the way, let's get into the next game. I hope everybody's enjoying. Alright. This next one is against Dark Magician. I like Dark Magician. I think it's good. Yeah. So, yeah, can't complain. Dark Magician is one of those decks. It's a very fan private Master Duel, so it's interesting. I have a really good hand here. I misplayed already. I should have went Extravagance first and then Prosperity, but I'm an idiot, so that happens. I reveal Scout, Extravagance, Skill Drain, Call by the Grave, Skill Drain again, and Summoner's Art. I grabbed the Summoner's Art, so I got all 3 Summoner's Art in my hand. Yet again, I misplayed here. Summoner's Art is going to allow me to get Scout. I activate Scout, and at this point, I'm going to get Kree Sacrifice. I use Scout, Summoner's Art again to get another Scout. And Art again to get a Monolith. I'm setting up for next turn just in case they destroy my stuff. At this point, I'm going to Pendulum Summon 2. At this point, I go into Genius. So I'm feeling pretty confident here, and I sacrifice my Genius. It's unaffected by it. I just want it on the field just in case they destroy it. So we'll see what happens. He activates Piercing the Darkness. He activates Dark Magical Circle. Then he activates Secrets of the Dark Magician. And he's going to get rid of both Dark Magician in his hand. He bricked pretty bad there to go into the Dark Magicians. And he sets 1. Piercing is going to allow him to draw a card, but it's affect a lot of damage. Sacrifice is going to go off, allowing me to get my towers. And then at this point, he activates Magician Rod. Magician Rod's going to allow him to get Magician's Salvation. He activates that, and that's going to allow him to get Eternal Soul directly. So then he ends his turn. So I'm feeling pretty confident here still. At this point, activate Scout. I'm going to grab card. He activates Eternal Soul. He doesn't use it right away. He's saving it so he can banish, which is fine. Scout is going to allow me to get Helix. Now at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident. He does get effect to draw 1 card. I'm going to pin summon 3, and at this point I go right into towers. Carrier is going to bounce 1 card, and Helix is going to destroy 1. I'm going to destroy his Eternal Soul and bounce his Dark Magicians. Eternal Soul, Carrier. Eternal Soul is going to activate, destroying that. At this point, activate towers. I know that's a spell or trap in his hand. He has no monster. And at this point, Monolith is going to allow me to draw 3 cards. And then I end my turn. My opponent, and at that point, just concedes. Towers is amazing, and I had Skill Drain up for my next turn on top of that. There was nothing my opponent could have done. I was in a winning state. So with that in mind, I hope you all enjoy. Let's get into our last game. Alrighty, so our last game here is against Literalist Tri-Brigade. There was misplays on both sides. I think this was a newer Literalist Tri-Brigade player, but still, his deck was a pretty good meta. So I'm happy with it. So we'll see what ends up happening. He goes first. He goes Troyquoise into Barry in the normal summons Kit. Kit at that point is going to go to Salome Almirage. He activates Kit to get to Sinnovo. Novo effect is going to add a Caress to his hands. And at this point, he's going to Exceed Summon into Robin. Then he ends his turn. Robin, Canary states that it can't be switched sides. So, feeling pretty confident here. At this point, activate Power Duality. He is going to Ash Blossom it though. So I'm like, okay, that sucks. But at the end of the turn, we'll make it work. So at this point, activate Summoner's Art. Summoner's Art, I'm going to get Scout. At this point, activate Scout. And I'm going to use its effect to grab me Stealth. Then I'm going to Monolith. And at this point, I'm going to normal summon Shell. And equip it to Qli Sacrifice, and then I'm going to that set will lose 1 turn. He activates Amirage. I don't think he read my cards, like I can't do anything. So I'm just going to attack all over his Loyalists. His Robin. If Robin's effects are going to activate, he targets Canary. Canary's going to get returned to his hands. At this point, I just end my turn. I'm feeling pretty confident still. So we'll see what happens. He draws for turn. At this point, he activates Caress. He discards his Cobalt. I'm going to activate lose 1 turn. So at this point, there's not much my opponent can do. He's going to start special summoning a lot, which is fine, but lose 1 turn is going to negate all the effects and put him into defense position. So lose 1 turn is really saving my ass right now, so we're going to see what ends up happening, and I'm pretty happy with this. At this point, he goes into Symbol Night Miguel. I think he was trying to go for a Zeus play, but he forgot it is negated. So very happy I got rid of his Zeus. There's nothing else he could really do about this. Scout is going to allow me to grab a card from my deck. He's going to make it so a card can't be destroyed, which is fine. I'll get rid of his Nightingale eventually. At this point, I go into Carrier. So at this point, I do pin summon my Carrier and my Stealth. They both go into defense position, which is fine, but I'm not using it for that. I'm going into my Genius. Lose 1 turn, this effect. I do activate Genius. I forgot it can't use its effect. I'm going to attack over Caress, and I'm going to attack his Symbol Night Miguel. Can't be destroyed, but still going to attack it. And I set my Infinite Permanents just in case they go into a Link monster. He activates 1-for-1, discarding his Nibiru, going into Noval. He attacks for 400. He ends his turn. I think he realized at this point Zeus wouldn't have worked. You've only got 2 material, so you only 1 activation, and I did have Infinite Permanents. He couldn't use Zeus the turn he even used it. He would have to use it now, which wouldn't have worked. So, yeah. I activate Scout. Of course, Nightingale's effect, making it indestructible, which is fine. Scout's effect, I'm going to grab Towers at this point. Feeling pretty confident. I'm going to pin summon 2 cards. Lose 1 turn. They both go in defense, but I don't care. I'm going to tribute all 3 of them out for my Towers. Sacrifice is going to activate, and Carrier is going to activate Carrier. I'm going to get rid of his Noval. I don't care. Noval's effect is going to allow him to go back to his hand. Sacrifice is going to allow me to grab Stealth. And at this point, I activate Towers. He's going to discard his Noval. I forgot they had a choice. And he gets Fractal to his hands. I'm fine with that. And at this point, I just attack. No real reason. Just wanted to. And then it's in my turn. I have Towers on the field with Genius, and I grab 3 cards. I'm feeling really comfortable in my position right now. He activates Fractal. Fractal effect is going to send it to the graveyard, and he sends Ringtail. Ringtail Royal is beautiful, by the way. And he gets Symbol Nightingale, another material, and he sets 1 in his turn. At this point, my opponent can't do anything. I activate Towers. He has to send it away. And at this point, I'm going to pin summon 1 and 2. Lose 1 turn is going to send him to defense. He activates Crossout Designator, just activating his own board call. It's nothing else he could do in this position. He lost the game at this point, and I think he understands that. So at this point, I'm going to activate Power Prosperity, banishing 6, and I'm just going to see the top 6 cards, see what I can get. There's really nothing there I want. I think I just grab Ash Blossom just in case he wants to search anything. So at this point, I just attack for roughly about 14,300. So I'm feeling really confident. 4,300. So I'm feeling really confident. Scout, guys, make grab Carrier, and I'm just going to end my turn. Next turn, I got, Lethal. And at this point, he activates Canary. He special summons 2. He gets Robin back. He activates 1 card. He does get material. And at this point, he attacks. Can't attack, but he goes into down position, into defense mode. Lose 1 turn. There's, like I said, there's nothing else my opponent can do at this point. He's just trying to wall up and survive another turn. But it's not going to help. Towers is going to send 1 to the graveyard. At this point, I pin summon 2 just because I can. I'm going to go to battle, and I'm going to attack for well over lethal. So that's the deck. I do hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said before, Qliphorts is not the best deck out there, but it has been a lot of fun. You get to play some interesting floodgates that a lot of people aren't playing, and it throws a lot of people off. So with that in mind, I hope you all enjoy. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. The next video is going to be in a couple weeks. I think next week, exact. It's going to be Magical Musketeers Runic. So Runic Magic Tears. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The Runic cards come out on the 8th, so expect that video probably around the 10th or the 11th. That's the deck I play in real life, and I'm going to have a lot of fun with it, so I can't wait to show you guys my actual real life deck list, with some exceptions like Maxi, of course, in it. But yeah, you're going to see my real life deck list. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good night.